As an Asian Australian, we do have a lot of success checklists.
Mm-hmm.
And actually on that year, I was turning 30. And I inevitably or unconsciously, I'm creating a list of checklists for myself in order to prove my value. And like, getting married is a bonus. Have a child is even better. Having a 6-figure salary or buying your first house, like something like that. I hit none of them, like literally zero. But then, in front of COVID, when everyone's so afraid of life and death situation, when you're looking at the news every day, the numbers of hospital admissions surging every day, there hasn't been any vaccines yet, you're thinking about, does that really?
Hello, beautiful people. This is Vivienne here, and welcome back to the 100 Successful Women, a Conversation to Inspire series. I am so excited to bring you episode number 79 with my next guest, Sarah Say, a top 50 global speaker, organizational psychologist, and leadership coach who's on a mission to help people lead from within. What I love about Sarah is that she brings together faith, mental well-being, and purpose-driven leadership in such powerful and relatable way. In a world that glorifies hustle and productivity, Sarah reminds us that true leadership is rooted in clarity, rest, and emotional strength. In this episode, we talk about what it means to pause with intention, to honor your mental health, and to lead without sacrificing your soul. If you're someone who's juggling business, impact, and identity, and you're craving more alignment and less burnout, this conversation is for you. So without further ado, let's dive into my conversation with Sarah coming up next. Good morning, Sarah. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Morning.
I'm so excited to have you here with us. Thank you so much to say yes, spending some time with us today.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be on your podcast today, Vivienne. I'm very excited to share with everyone.
Yeah, so for those of you listening, Sarah and I has been doing the same course again. I know her through one of the courses that we're doing together. I haven't really met her in person, but I love her work. She's always have a great energy whenever I see her on Zoom. So yeah, as you can see from the background, Sarah is from 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐚 Coaching. So obviously she's a coach. She is a soon-to-be wife and then a daughter. So the first question that I always ask my podcast guests is that, Sarah, who are you at your core if you to take away all the label that you have?
Wow. This is such a deep question and wise question, and I love it. I'm a woman of faith, so I'm a Christian by myself. So I was always asked when I'm taking away all my labels, I'm a children of God. And this is first and foremost most important identity for me, because it's one of the pillars that anchoring in whatever I do in whether I'm serving a church, whether I'm serving leaders and professionals through my coaching conversations, or whether I'm speaking on the stage. It's all ties to who I am.
Yeah, I love that. I know that Sarah has been very active in her church, and I did see her post that she is dedicated to her church activities, and I think that's her top value as well. Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And Sarah, do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey? I know that from one of your introduction, you are a trilingual organizational psychologist. Wow, that's amazing. That leads leaders to become a better leader without sacrificing well-being. Can you tell us a little bit, how did you get on this journey? And another question is that, because you mentioned something leading from within, I really love that. Yeah, what does that mean to you, and what got you onto this journey?
Another great question. Thank you, Vivienne. So I'm a trilingual coach because I'm born and raised in Hong Kong. So Cantonese is my mother tongue. And I came to Australia when after high school. So I've been here for 17 years. Don't try to guess how I am. And and so that's why I'm now fluent in English as well. And since I came to Sydney, actually, the current church that I'm attending is Mandarin speaking. And I learned Mandarin actually at church.
Oh, wow.
When I first came in, I could listen because I watched a lot of Taiwan drama when I was in high school. Like, you know, back in the era where all the Taiwan's like not chick flicks, all the soap drama was so popular around high school in Hong Kong. So I watched quite a fair bit. So that's why I can listen, but I couldn't speak. So being around a group of people speaking the Mandarin, I slowly pick it up. And that's how I now become a trilingual coach and speaker. In terms of my journey, I started as a psychology student. I knew I wanted to go to the business side, like the organization psychology, because coming from Hong Kong, I witnessed a lot of unhealthy workplace behavior. Like people always overwork, and they felt like their meaning of work is about earning more money. Mm-hmm. For me, it's never about money. It's about like the fulfillment and satisfaction. That's what we talk a lot about in organization psychology, about your job satisfaction, about your mental health, well-being. So this is those things that really resonate with me. So I decided to study in organization psychology. However, actually, I didn't even work in any traditional organization psychologist job since I graduated, funny enough. I kind of ran out of deviation and working in digital transformation and innovation. So I start from like being an internship at the bank, then in Big Four, then actually go back to boutique consultancy as a user experience consultant, then work in the bank as a service designer, like using a creative framework called design thinking, human-centered design, to help a corporate to find the right problem to solve. Because one of the problems that we often have is, you know, we're trying to solve the wrong problem. We jump into solution. However, my previous job is actually guiding leaders from organizations to understand the problem space through different ways of facilitations or customer interviews or stakeholders interviews, so they know what exactly the root cause of the problem. So they're able to then brainstorm different ways to solve the problem in order to see results more effectively. Through this journey, what I'm witnessing is a lot of time when project fails is actually because of leaders, unfortunately. And at one stage, I got quite angry at bad leadership behavior, and I was really grumbling. It's like, how come he or she become the blockers of the project? Like, is he or she meant to be the enabler or empowering the team to do the work? And to a stage, like, actually, maybe I would like to go back to do some more work with people. And at the same time, because of all the changes happening in organization, for a period of time, I had lived the experience of burnout. Because my team was constantly restructuring, and to a stage, I felt like I need to work harder, like to prove my value, and kind of sacrificing my own well-being. I still remember like 5 years ago at the beginning of 2020 when I was on a train going to work, because I live in North Shore in Sydney. So the train would go past Harbour Bridge and I get off in Wynyard Station. And once the train is approaching Wynyard Station, my heartbeat surged to 130.
Wow.
Yes, as a psychologist myself, I'm aware that there's something wrong with me. So I went to see a psychologist, and unfortunately it wasn't a great experience. I still remember the first conversation when I had with the psychologist. He was a quite young Caucasian psychologist, and he suspected I got ADHD. So for a client already feeling very anxious, couldn't sleep, trying to find some stress management strategy, and being not diagnosed unofficially, but being hypothesized you got ADHD, that makes me feel even worse. So it didn't went out well. But then I decided to take some rest. And I left the company, and it was 2020, the beginning of COVID. So end up I was unemployed, living by myself during the first wave of lockdown. In a lot of people's eyes, it was one of the toughest period, but actually, now I'm thinking back, it was one of the best period of my life, because I get to be still, just rest completely, and I can deal with a lot of my inner inner work, like a soul searching. And what I'm realizing is a lot of the, as an Asian Australian, we do have a lot of success checklists. And actually on that year, I was turning 30, and I inevitably or unconsciously, I'm creating a list of checklists for myself in order to prove my value. And like, you're getting married is a bonus. Have a child is even better. Having a 6-figure salary or buying your first house, like something like that. I hit none of them, like literally 0. But then, in front of COVID, when everyone's so afraid of life and death situation, when you're looking at the news every day, the numbers of hospital admissions surging every day, there hasn't been any vaccines yet, you're thinking about, does that really matter? And it caught me really think about, what do I want for my life? As I mentioned before, like one of my core pillar is being a children of God. I'm going back to my core value. Like, am I living a purpose-driven life? Or am I living under someone's success pathway? And what I'm realizing is, I was actually living in someone else's success pathway. And I need to find my own. And I need to find a way to create my own. So that was the moment that I realized, actually, I don't have much ambition to climb in the corporate ladder, which I thought I was. I still remember back in the uni days when we're chatting about amount of friends, and because as in students or in organization psychologists, a lot of us actually the career projection has become the general managers or executive or even running their own company. Some quite senior position because we're meant to be the people scientist at work. But then actually, I don't want to feel confined in a corporate box. Not saying everyone will be, but for me, because I have different areas of my life. I love art, I love sensory. There's different sides of me that couldn't be able to fulfill within that frame. And I really want to see what else I can do. So since then, I'm a lot more conscious in how can I explore different ways, almost finding an exit way out. So I didn't jump straight away, but what I did is I had my last role in government, so which is a lot more meaningful project because I get to work on improving citizens' experience. Like some of the project I was working on was related to Hazard Watch, and another project I was working on related to heritage for Aboriginal community. Another project I was working on related to supporting domestic violence victims. So victim survivor. So which is very, very grateful for me to have all those experience. And 2 years ago, I got introduced to coaching. Actually, I wouldn't say I got introduced to, because it is one of my favorite subjects when I was studying at uni. Because at uni, when I studied coaching psychology and positive psychologies, those two subjects are my favorite subjects because they're all talking about more action-oriented and future-driven methodology or framework. Because I believe this is a way you instill hope. And that's aligned to my personal value as well. Well, when I got introduced to this book, it's a leadership coaching book. It was written in Chinese. Actually, it was a translatable written in Chinese. I finished reading. It's like, oh, this definitely something that I would love to learn more. And I end up actually taking that course in Mandarin. So I want to challenge myself. So I'm now confident in giving coaching service in Mandarin, Cantonese, and English as well. And that's my journey begins. And when you ask me why lead from within is so important, because I believe without knowing how to lead yourself, it's really hard to lead others. Often when you're inconsistent or we say the cognitive dissonance, right? You're thinking about one thing and doing another. And they just fight and they're pulling you from different directions. And you don't have the force, the momentum to keep you going. But however, if we work from within, understanding who you are as a person, knowing where you want to go, then finding ways to head towards the direction become a lot more easier. not saying you don't have to do the work, but then it's all aligned. It's about the alignment from within. Yeah, hope I answer your questions.
Yes, definitely. I love that. It's such a great journey that you have, and it seems like COVID has been a blessing in disguise for so many people, because I had a few guests on the podcast. They have their pivotal moment all during the COVID lockdown, and I love that it is the time where the world literally stopped and give us a chance to really stop and pause. What do we really want in our life? And I love that you got that. You find your answers, and you got on this coaching journey, and you're helping more people now. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Sarah. It's a very typical question, especially us who brought from the Asian background. We were told this is a path that we should be on, grow up with, and to have all this success, so-called success, that is actually defined by others, but sometimes it's not really what we want.
Exactly.
And congratulations to you for having that awareness and knowing your path and helping more people now. That's such an important thing that you're doing, Sarah.
Thank you. I believe everyone has something unique to offer. And my role as a coach, I always say I'm like a treasure hunter. I'm just going to unlock the hidden treasure in every single of the client that I get to serve, so they're able to feel the excitement about life, and they have the energy to go forward.
Yes, so true. Everyone is different, and without realizing, without someone there to become that treasure hunter, they probably wouldn't be finding that, even though towards the end of their life. Yeah. So I know that you did say that the importance of rest and clarity, and you say that silence is where true leadership clarity begins. As we all know that, yes, we did go through COVID. That's the time when stillness can happen, because everyone literally stopped. But in this world now, the world is started to hustle and busy again. So how can all of us to begin and honor that silence and stillness as the strength? Like you say, you are that treasure hunter. How can we practice this silence in this busyness of the world nowadays?
That's a really good question. I often use an analogy. It's like a snow dome. You know, you're constantly shaking the snow dome. You can't see anything inside. But you let it put on your palm, to let it sit for a minute or two, and you actually get to see what's inside. Just like us, when you're running around like a hellish choke, your particularly for leaders, your confidence in making decision with clarity drops. And one of the strategies I really like is students can look different for different people. I really like to spend time in the morning, just no phone, and go for a walk. For me, that's the time that I can get my clarity, and often that's the time I use to connect with my God, and even just slowly walking. I know I've heard people like they do jogging as well, because it's a way that how they are sensing that moments of the stillness and silence. And sometimes I'm just sitting there doing like breathing exercise. You know, often we are breathing quite shallow, and when you have deep conscious breathing, it's actually regulating our nervous system. It's about like activating the vagus nerve. So, and this is some of the strategy, and also finding routine in your life to rest. I believe everyone should have at least one day off from work, like a Sabbath day. It's quite important. Like that's the day that you get to connect with your families, with your community, with your friends. So you have a lot more balanced life, like, or more integrated life. In a wellness view, work is actually only one of the facet, and there's different parts of the facets that composing a healthy, holistic life. And I believe we need to put a lot more conscious thought into designing the life that not only letting one part dominating the pie, but you have a more even spread.
So true. I love that, and a great reminder that we should dedicate some time to design the life that we want, because it's so true. When busy running around, you like a headless troop. You just can't think straight. And I love that you are saying that dedicate maybe even 1 hour in that particular day to maybe design and look at the life as a whole, or else you wouldn't really know what's just like hamster wheel. You just go there and not realizing what are the things that you are doing.
Exactly.
Yes, and as easy as that breathing exercise. So true. Sometimes we just running around, especially as a mom, you have so many things in your life that you can't even remember about breathing properly. That's such a great reminder, and I love that dedicated the time to design the life and put that into bigger pictures. Yeah, thank you so much for that reminder as well. It's so important, especially I literally had a very busy Sunday, and that's a great reminder. And I'm going to maybe take some time later to do what you just told me, Sarah. Thank you so much for that.
I'm glad I'm able to serve you.
Yeah, thank you for that. And another thing is that mental health. Mental health is such a big issue in our world nowadays, not only for adults, for younger generation as well. And I know that you have been doing a lot of work around that. How can women, especially people who have a business, have a careers, to prioritize mental health, and so that they don't feel behind? Because I know that you did mention about people who focus so much on career, on business, sometimes they forgot about that. And sometimes they probably feel behind if they make that as a priority.
Yes, this is so true. I remember like lately I had a chat with one of my friend, and he actually is a patient recovering from cancer. And he's actually quite senior in corporate, so he took a year off. And when we were chatting, I asked him, what do you think about the most important things in your life? And he said definitely health, regardless it's physical health or mental health, because he had experienced the crisis of almost losing it. And that particular moment in time, he said, none of my title, my salary, my achievement at work matters. I just want my health back. So for me, he's actually in our age, and for him, going through all the cancer treatment, all the surgery, and able to say that weighed a lot. And I still remember how he looked when he shared that, very genuinely, yet really want to warn people, do not sacrifice your health with anything. And also, when someone's actually losing their health, not only them suffer, it's the family. People surrounded them is actually all impact. So if you're thinking about from a more like selfless perspective, actually putting your own oxygen mask is important before you're helping others to put on their oxygen mask.
Yes, that's amazing. I think it's such a great signal and warning to people out there, because people sometimes didn't realize how they take life for granted until they will throw something like a big bomb for them. And we really don't want that to happen. It's just like a hero's journey, because unless you hit with some things, you got two choices, whether you're hit with something or have the awareness now. And I love what you're doing, and remind people about that is such a great message. And I believe that being here, sharing this message, whether it's only one people listening or 100 people listening, where your message is such important reminder for us to have that awareness. Because yes, career, business is so important, but without health, that's zero, literally, at the end of the day. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that story with us, Sarah.
I also have a more personal stories, because my mom actually is a long-term patient. So, and since young, like, because for me, like, she's one of the role models that I often look upon to, because she's so smart, so intelligent. However, because she's a not long-term patient, her physical, like, fitness or energy level is actually lower than us. So one of the things that she often told me is, I wish I have more energy so I can do more things, but I know my limitation because of my medical history. There's only so much I can do. So she always share with me, regardless where I'm in my busy season or when I was in my low season, even when I'm suffering with anxiety or like really stressful periods, like, your health is everything. Without health, like, she is actually one of the examples. So that's why since I was young, I'm always very cognizant about my health, like whether it's physical, spiritual, or mental health, because I understand the impact if one of your close family members actually sick, and the entire family will be impacted. And that's why I always say prevention is better than cure.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a especially when you see someone, your role model, your mom, being in that state of wanting to do more, but there's some limitation. And especially people who are at our age, it's so important to remind ourselves, because it's not only that you mentioned about your mom, because what we are doing is actually going to impact our next generation as well.
What you mentioned is actually remind me of a conversation with one of my clients. She's also a young mom, like very successful professionals, and she was saying, I felt like us raising a kid, although I do not have any children just yet, but like what I'm hearing a common theme is trying to, for them, is like a give and take. But I often challenge, actually, is it a give and take or is it an integration? And that integration starts with alignment with your life season. Like, before you have kids, you have one less thing to focus on. But right now you have kids, we've got family commitment, right? And how do you redesign and realign your life so that it aligns with what you can see and what you want to see in this particular season? Like, say you have young children, right? But because by the time your children turn to teenagers, your life season has changed again, which means what it looks like or the possibility would be renewed. Then you can revisit. So that's why knowing where you are at your particular season of life and making a conscious decision that align to that will give you a lot more satisfaction and like joyfulness.
So true. Everyone have a different season in their life, different stages of their life, and you can't really doing the same thing over and over again because of the different season. And such a great, especially for parents out there, we've been through stages of kids, from baby to teenage. Is so much to learn as well. Yeah, that's such a great message out there as well, Sarah. I love that you give us so much golden nuggets here, Sarah. Even though you're not a parent, you got so many golden nuggets for us as a parents. Yeah, I really love our conversation today, Sarah, and I'm well aware of the time. Another thing that, because you mentioned so much about you're a child of God, purpose-driven life, and then faith-based leaders. How does your work actually, how does this relate to your work? How does you put that, especially in guiding your clients to design their leadership journey?
Oh wow, you're such a you're so great in asking questions. I really love this question. Let me think about how can I answer it. For me, it's actually coming from two different perspectives. First of all is my mindset. I believe everyone is powerful. They should be honored regardless if you are a CEO or if you're a fresh grad. And that's how I always see people. And my role is to honor you and help you to flourish and get to the abundance. And I think this is the way that how I've been taught that how God has seen us. And that's how Jesus sees us, because we have been being cleansed and redeemed. So for me, it's because this way how I see people, I always see hope in my client's life. And in fact, I always want to celebrate the progression, like celebrate with the journey, right? Even if you think about in Bible, the prodigal sons, right? Even the young son were so rebellious and spent all the father's money and is doing all the wicked things. But the father's actually throwing a party for the young prodigal sons when he's coming back. And I believe we should be the one that throwing party and celebrating when people is actually have made a decision to do the change. Even though the changes may not have seen just yet. But we are here to support them. Rather than being there to judge them, say, hey, how come you're not doing this thing? Or I think you should do. We need to have the father's heart, and this is something that what I always try my best to do and get my client to experience that. Because I know, particularly for high achiever, we are our worst enemy, because we always criticize or even sabotaging ourselves. And I do have a lot of females leaders, they are actually suffering from imposter syndrome. Like when she's telling me all the wonderful things that she's doing, it's like, oh, but I don't think I'm doing enough. Like, hang on, you've already done a lot of things. We should celebrate what you have achieved. And it's like, really? But I think I can do this and this better. Yes, but right now it's about celebration. Then you get the energy and momentum to do even more. Imagine that when you're doing something, you always feel like you're not enough. The inadequacy or the lacking confidence is actually dragging you down. But in the same situations, you want to celebrate, you want to acknowledge the journey that you have come so far. It gives you more energy to even conquer the next challenge that you may have in your life. So this is one way. And the second way is particularly for my Christian client, like Christian leaders or business owner. I think I hold a role to help them to see their spiritual life and the other parts of their life can align and should align. Because I believe in workplace and in ministry is actually both of them a form of worship. And tradition, because I grew up at church, so I've seen a lot of people that they're really excellent at what their craft, but they become a potentially a churchgoer, and someone's very passionate in serving God, but they get quite complacent or just to get by at work to get money. It's like, they see serving God at church on Sundays are more sacred, but no, God didn't see them separate. They are integrated, and I really want to advocate for leaders so we can find way, and we should find way so that our mission is not only on Sunday, but it's every day on our living. Whether you're like Paul, right? He is actually is a professional, right? He is a tent maker. So this is how we can see it come together.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that. It's such an important, that's such a beautiful Bible story that you integrate in your coaching journey. And it's so true that, yes, we did make mistakes in our life, and it's still good to celebrate that when the decision that you decided that you want to change. And as a coach, it's a great reminder for the clients as well to celebrate, even though the small wins, it can be so important in our life, which we sometimes forgot as well.
it's the awareness and mindset shift that worth celebration.
Such beautiful work that you are doing there, Sarah. You did so many great things in your life, helping your clients, serving as a child of God in the church. So what's next for Sarah?
Oh, I've got a dream. I always have a dream, right? We all need to dream big for God and break it down into small steps to take it action. Last year and this year, I actually co-host a women's retreat in Taiwan for Mandarin-speaking women and leaders. I have a dream to bring it back to Australia next year because I really want to serve people. And what's special about this retreat is because I am passionate about art and aroma, because I believe those sensory experiences actually help us to rest and help us to gain clarity into our life. And in fact, actually, arts and aroma are the two kits helped me to get out of my anxiety during COVID lockdown. I spent quite a fair bit of time because of lockdown, and I was doing a lot of painting, and that became my own therapy. So I really love it. And I can see, as leaders, often we are very focusing on logical, rational decision making. And you having those arts and craft actually can help us to unlock our intuition. Because you're not judging right or wrong. There's no right or wrong in art. It's about a medium and way to express yourself. And when you're reflecting on what you create, actually a lot can tell. When I was looking at the painting that I paint during my COVID lockdown, the first painting that I paint, regardless the brush stroke or the color used, to the last painting I create towards the lockdown, which I felt my mental state has recovered, it looks so different. So actually, subconsciously, through my visual expression, it's telling me something. Now I'm looking back. But I believe this is something that particular leaders, or if they can embrace and feel safe to use it as a way to express themselves, is so good to support the holistic well-being.
That's such a great I can't wait to hear more about the retreat, and make sure you bring it back and make this dream a reality, especially for women's leaders out there. And I love that it's a way to express, because sometimes when we have too much in our mind, it's actually become clutters. And I think it's a great way to declutter as well and to express whatever in the mind. So yes, Shima coaching, retreat, there are so many things Sarah can help you with. So how can people find you online, Sarah?
Best to find me online is either find me on Facebook or LinkedIn. So you can just Sarah TSE, and if you say, just DM me, say you're from your podcast,
you just say Vivienne Fam, my name.
Or Vivienne Fam. So I know how to keep you posted, because I've upcoming masterclass as well. So if you'd like to hear more about the upcoming masterclass, just say masterclass, so I will be able to keep you in the loop.
I'll definitely include Sarah's socials in the description, and then make sure you reach out to her for any things that you find it relevant. I believe that she's more than happy to help you with. Maybe to connect with her, I'll include that in the description on this video. But again, thank you so much for your time with us, Sarah. You have shared with us so much golden nuggets, so many great advice and wisdom, and I love your journey. And thank you so much for spending your time with us, Sarah.
It's my pleasure to be on your show today, and I really hope that every single one who's listening, believing in yourself, stay curious, stay humble, and you're able to achieve and find your hidden treasure.
Yeah, I love that. But I know that you share with us so much golden nuggets, but still, my last question is that, what is your one last piece of advice for all the people out there listening?
I always have a three-step process, right? Be still, explore, explore different ways of achieving your goals or your target, because there's no one way or correct answer. And take action. Like without taking action, dreams always dream. But
Yes.
once you start your one small step, even like changing your mindset or becoming a lot more aware of things, you're one step closer to your dream. And with consistency and persistency, you will see your dream come true.
I love that. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, so many things that Sarah has shared with us today. Make sure you take some time to pause. And I love that be still, which sounds so easy to do, but so easy that we forgot as well. Thank you again, Sarah, for your time, for your wisdom, and I can't wait to invite you again in the futures and waiting to hear more about your retreat as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.